Dento karate practitioners, karatecas tradicionales. This time in Karate Perspectives, we have the infinite honor of having Sensei Shawn Sample transmitting from Arizona. Sensei Sample, welcome to Karate Perspectives and thank you for the great opportunity of having you. Oh, Sensei.
Oh, Sharon, it's nice to see you again, sir.
It's always an infinite pleasure. If you are so kind, please can you tell us how your karate journey starts and anything that you would like to share about your story? Because actually, the purpose of this interview is that you tell your story.
Well, when I was a young kid, I was very skinny and non-athletic, and I was getting bullied and beat up around the neighborhood and in school quite a bit.
Wow.
So when I was 12 years old, my mother enrolled me in a judo and Japanese jiu-jitsu class at the local community college because
Incredible.
she got tired of taking me to the doctor to get me patched up.
Oh,
And I stayed in that class for a few years, and then that instructor moved on, and a Aikido and Judo instructor came to the same community college, and I started training with him.
awesome.
This was in Kansas City, Missouri, by the way, where I grew up, and uh, and I trained with them for a year and a half or so, and then they disappeared. And then at the age of 16, a gentleman who was teaching Shotokan karate showed up at the same community college. So I started training with him, and he was only a shodan at the time. And I really, once I started training karate, I really saw how much that particular martial art was cut out for the type of self-defense that I needed for
Wow.
the situations that I was finding myself in. Uh, I really enjoyed it, and my instructor said that there was a tournament in Phoenix, and so a friend of mine, another white belt, drove from Kansas City, Missouri to Phoenix as white belts in 1978, and we competed in the 78 Western states, and I got to see Sensei Shojiro Koyama in action. And I said, wow, I have to move here and train with these guys. I had competed in tournaments in Missouri, but it wasn't the same. And so a year and a half later, I was living in Phoenix out of my truck at first and training at the Phoenix dojo and with Sensei Koyama at ASU. And 43 years later, I'm still here, and I have, Sensei passed away a couple of years ago, unfortunately, but I have my own dojo now, and I'm still in Phoenix, and I'm teaching my own students now.
And Sensei, how incredible was for a young Sensei Shawn Sample to witness such a driving force like Sensei Shojiro Koyama. Can you please tell us about it?
I remember being in the second grade and checking in the encyclopedia and seeing pictures. At the time, Batman and the Green Hornet and all that was out. There was a lot of interest in martial arts, and I looked up karate and I saw pictures of Master Funakoshi and Master Nakayama, and I had no idea how lucky I was going to be to stumble into Shotokan karate. And I was so fortunate to fall into the right group because I literally would have almost gone with anybody in the beginning because we really didn't know any better. And I fell in with a good group of people. And I was so fortunate to have been able to rub elbows and shoulders with the likes of Sensei Koyama and Master Yaguchi and Master Mikami and Master Okazaki and Master Takashina and all the other great senseis that I got to meet and have conversations with and train under, much like yourself. The generations nowadays, they don't have the same opportunities that we had back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, because most of those gentlemen have passed away or have retired.
That's right.
And we were so lucky to live in a time where we got that direct connection to, Master Funakoshi's students. And I just feel so fortunate to have lived in a time where we got to train with direct students of Master Funakoshi's and got to train with these great men.
I I I I I need to totally agree on that one. You have places in such a incredible and correct manner. You know, it's a deep privilege to have the chance to train
Absolutely.
with these people and see them, see how incredible and uplifting they were. You know, it's
Absolutely.
in a sense is a hold that I carry all the time. You know, it's a but at the same time I'm very grateful. So it's a combination of both. Sensei, so it's incredible. I think Shotokan was calling you, was talking to you in a sense, because for this, and I know you will agree with what I'm gonna say, is that you need to have a tendency, a keen to practice this wonderful art because it's not easy. Correct?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I think you have to have motivation uh, to drive you to the martial arts. In my case, I was getting bullied and beat up a lot when I was young. And at the time, I thought it was one of the most terrible things that could possibly happen to me. But in a way, nowadays that I look back on it, I was very fortunate that that happened to me at a young age before people were pulling out knives and guns like they do nowadays. Back then, it was just fists, and it was safe to be bullied back then. And it drove me to the martial arts to defend myself. Nowadays, we get children into the dojo who a lot of them can't do a single push-up, or they don't can't do a single sit-up because they sit on their couches all day and play with remote controls, and they never go outside. When I was a child, we never came indoors once we were let outside in the morning until our parents made us come home at the end of the night. So we played outdoors all day long. The fitness level that I'm seeing in children nowadays is really low, and it's just a whole new generation. It's nothing like what I went through when I was younger. So, uh, but like I said, I had a lot of motivation because I was bullied as a child to drive me to the martial arts. I also had a older brother who drugged me into a lot of trouble and who pushed me around a lot as when I was younger. That it gave me a strong desire to want to learn how to defend myself. But also, karate as a whole has it's more or less become a religion for me. I'm not a particularly religious person, and karate has saved me so many times from not just trouble but from illness. I had a heart attack back in 2015,
Oh, I'm so
and my heart stopped beating twice, and they were able to bring me back twice from with electric shock and CPR, and most people don't come back once from that, and because since they reinforced my heart so strong that I was able to come back twice from flatline. And
that
I contribute that to my karate training. Uh, I was and I saw that it was killing me back in 2011, and I was able to give up alcohol. And like I said, I'm not particularly religious. I tried AA, but it didn't work for me because I'm not religious. I just doubled down in my karate training, and that helped me get over my alcoholism. And I haven't had a drink in 12 years now. And
incredible.
karate has saved me from so many problems in my life. And I just, when Funakoshi named his book Karate, My Way of Life, that's how I feel about karate. It is my way of life. I love to teach. I love to train, and it's what I live for.
For those of us that had the pleasure to see you from time to time, you know, competing also, you know, um, you were in, for example, in my personal experience. For me, you were one of my idols, one of the people that I look for. You know, I meet you the first time in the World Cup, but previously I saw you competing on camp. You know, and you were your spirit was something to watch and see and to look to, to look up to. Let's say that. Um,
Well, thank you. Sensei Koyama was he was not an easy teacher to have. When he would come to camp, like master camp or other camps that he would be very sweet to the students there. But when we got him home, he was not so sweet. He used a stick on his students, and I'm not complaining about it because it did good things for us. That's what gave me that spirit. He would often put me in front of people who were much more skilled than I was, stand behind me with a stick and beat me and say, "Big guy, no escape." And so I would be getting beat from the front from somebody more skilled than I was, and getting beat with a stick from behind with Sensei Koyama, telling me that I couldn't back up, that I had to go straight on into these people. So that gave me some of the spirit that I needed to face those high level competitions that I faced in the future, and gave me my fighting spirit. Sensei's his spirit was passed on to his students, and it wasn't always easy. It was rarely easy, but he really did a good job on us. It wasn't always pleasant, but it was very effective.
and how I mean, karate had so many different outlets, of course, but how you discover the that king side of yours to compete and to go in such a path that delivers you to world championships, Pan Am championships. I mean, you were all over the place, and you compete with the finest. You know, in and make such a marvelous way. There is videos of you competing with the senseis such as Kokubun, and you make a fine job right there with them when they were world champions, and you make us display such a skill. It's incredible. I enjoy those, at least. Can you tell us how you discover that competitive aspect of Sensei Shawn Sample, the karate player?
Well, in the case of Sensei Kokobun, uh, as soon as I stepped in the ring with him, within 30 seconds, he had me on the floor. And I realized I was totally outclassed. But I had seen other competitors in the World Cup who got intimidated by their opponents and lost moving backwards. And I remembered Sensei Koyama standing behind me with that stick. And I said, well, this guy he may be better than I am, but if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose going forward. So I decided I wasn't going to run from him, and I was going to move into him no matter what. Because everything I tried, as soon as I used the tech, he was no longer there. He was, he slips, punches, and kicks. He's an amazing fighter, and so I just decided if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose going forward. And I did lose, and he beat me, fair and square, of course. That he hit me in the chest harder than anybody's ever hit me in the chest, and he's a excellent fighter, and I was just glad to have the opportunity to get to in the ring with him, and it was an honor to fight Sensei Kokobun. So, and I also got in '92, I got the chance to fight Master Imamura, and he beat me as well. But I really enjoyed fighting him, and I got to fight the gentleman from South Africa, and I'm having a senior moment, but I'm forgetting his name right now, who won the '94 Shoto Cup,
Pablo
and he beat me, I
Protopapa.
believe. Yeah, Mr. Protopapa. I believe he beat me in the final 16 or the final 8. You'll have to ask the people in Philadelphia where that happened. But
Incredible.
uh,
Incredible.
that was one heck of a tournament. My gi was just covered in blood at the end of that tournament that was when we were still fighting bare knuckle, and that was probably the most exciting tournament I ever fought in, I think.
I,
But that was
in
something
my
else.
opinion, I would like to ask you this one. This one is a good one to see if my recollection is okay. How many years had passed since '94? Is 20 something years, right?
Well, in '94, that's 29 years, I believe.
Oh
So
boy,
next year it'll be 30 years. So
oh boy.
uh,
Well,
I was on the United States team from '92 through '98, and I fought in 4 Shoto Cups. Uh, I made it to the final 16 in '92. I believe I made it to the final 8 in '94, and I
wow.
believe I made it to the final. I know I made it to the final 8 in '96, and then in '98 in Paris, I lost the very first round, and that's when I knew it was time. I was 38 years old in '98, and I knew it was time to retire. However, I did go home and I won the national championships in Kumite that year. And then I retired, and Sensei Koyama was furious at me when I retired at 38 years old. So, and he forced me out of retirement to fight in a couple of tournaments a couple of times when he didn't have people on his Kumite team. So, but for the most part, I retired in 1998.
That's awesome. Do you think that '94 was possibly the bloodiest and strongest cup because that was when South Africa came from the banning?
It was the bloodiest tournament I've ever fought in. It was bare knuckle. Much everybody was fighting full contact. Master Okazaki was he seemed to be pretty worried at the time. He seemed to be freaking out a little bit that everybody was bashing everybody pretty hard. And like I said, after the first day, I was still in, but my gi was bled, and I was staying in a dormitory close to the arena, and
Drexel.
I had to ask somebody where could I go to wash my gi, and Master Okazaki just said to one of his students, "Here, you wash Shawn's gi." And I was thankful because I didn't know where I was, and so somewhere in the middle of Philadelphia, and
Wow. Wow.
so the next morning I showed up and somebody had washed my gi for me.
That's nice.
But what excellent memories to like I said, rub shoulders with people like Master Okazaki and to get to fight famous people. And, I'm just a small guy from Phoenix, Arizona, and to be able to mix with people like that, it was just a wonderful experience. And to travel with the U.S. team and have friends that are now running organizations, like Hiro Okazaki and people who are running different regions in the JKA, and just it's a karate has been a wonderful experience to get to know a lot of wonderful people. It unites. I have friends all throughout northern Mexico and all the way up into Canada, all the way across the United States and Puerto Rico, and all around the world, really. Uh, when Sensei's Zoom funeral happened, I said that Sensei Koyama was a uniter. He brought people together across borders, across religious lines, across racial lines, across all different lines. People who would never ever get together through the media of karate, and he brought them together and made them friends. And what a wonderful thing. Who would think that a fighting art could bring people together and make them brothers and sisters?
It is.
It's karate is just a wonderful media just to bring people together. So
It's so powerful, so powerful. I mean, there is no. I don't have a word to say it, but it's so incredibly and personally powerful. You know, uh, Sensei,
yes, it
I
is.
gotta, I gotta ask you this: the people in your hometown, they know what the chance that they got have you around.
Well, I have between 40 and 50 students right now. We're struggling a little this year. The economy's struggling a little bit. So I'm going to say if they know, they're not taking advantage of it very much. But, you
They
know,
should.
we're most of the time our dojo breaks even, but a lot of times my wife and I are digging into our pockets to keep our dojo open. But not too bad. I mean, we're doing okay, but we could be doing a lot better. But we're just glad to be teaching. I don't know. I'm not the type of person who can go home and watch television at night. During the pandemic, when the governor here in Arizona shut us down for a while, and I went home and was watching game shows on television, I was like, how can people live like this? You know, I need to be in the dojo training or teaching, and I'm not the type who can sit at home on the couch watching television at night. I need to be on my feet doing something, and if I didn't have karate, I don't think I would last very long. So I need to be active.
It's it's incredible. Uh, how is the feeling of being an American karate ambassador, because you were a karate ambassador for many different World Cups and Pan Ams and different tournaments. So how is that feeling?
Well, that feeling was quite a while ago. I've been kind of keeping a low profile since about 2019. You know, I dropped out of the KWF and I've been independent for the last few years since Sensei Koyama has died. And I'm building a new dojo. I started from square one with one white belt student. So I'm trying to build up an organization around myself. So I'm pretty small time right now. I'm just, like I said, keeping a low profile. I'm trying to get good students, and I'm not too worried about making a big name for myself. I'm just doing karate because it makes me happy. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not trying to get famous. I'm just training and teaching, and that's what I like to do. And as far as being an ambassador or being high profile, those days are over for me. I'm 63 years old, and I just enjoy teaching and training, and I like my students, and they like me, and I enjoy teaching adult classes and children's classes, and trying to make my students, trying to figure out ways to make my students better. I find that teaching makes you double down on the learning of karate even more. And I just find out new things about kata, about kihon, about kumite. Teaching makes you study it even more in depth. You know, when I was a competitor, I was mostly concentrated on kumite. Sensei Koyama used to always say, you don't need kata, you fighter, you know, but now that I'm teaching, I have to teach kata all the time. So I'm really in depth studying kata very deeply now. And I know I'm not very good at it, but I'm doing the best I can to learn it and pass it down to my students as best as I can. And I'm doing the best job I can. I'm far from perfect at it, but I'm doing the best I can. So.
This is perfect. How is that karate is like a puzzle, right? You always unfolds a new discovery. How can you talk about a little bit about that idea, please?
You know, I think karate is like life. You know, you go through different phases if you don't quit. And
Yeah.
like you say, it's a flower. It just unfolds in front of you, and it's like different phases of your life. If you don't quit and you keep going, what I said to you just a minute ago is kind of you just told me a shortened version of it. It just the different phases of karate unfold in front of you, like Master Funakoshi says. You train karate as a lifetime experience. You train karate for your whole life. And You know, the other day I saw an interview you did with a gentleman who had a dojo with 800 people in it and had many other dojos around the UK, maybe around the world. I don't know.
Yes,
And then
worldwide.
you asked me if you could do an interview with me. And I'm like, why would he want to interview me? I just have one dojo and 40, 50 students. I'm nobody. But everybody's karate journey is different, but still they have a lot of similarities. They unfold in front of you, and depending on what you're seeking out in your karate, uh, you'll find what you're looking for if you train in earnest. And you know, like I said, everybody's journey is different, but you'll get out of it what you put into it. So,
That 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 last part was marvelous. You know, you get out what you put into it, and that's something really valuable for these times. You know, people doesn't want to put the work. Maybe it's the fast internet, the fast cell phones, the fast cars, you know, the fast experiences. So maybe they are losing a little bit the essence of things, you know, to take the time to put the work, to just in silence make the work, you know.
well, Yarm, I don't know how long it took you to make Shodan, but it took me 7 years. And nowadays, I think the average is 2 or 3 years. Uh, what a change. You know, I got my black belt in 1982. Uh, so nowadays, people, it's very quick. And, uh, and I'm not saying that the people nowadays aren't as good as we were, but it just took a lot longer back then. And also, when I started training, there was only four different, there was the same amount of cues, but it was just white, green, brown, and black. So I was a white belt for 2.5 years. Uh, by the time I have a student for 2.5 years, they're already a brown belt. So what a difference. People want the payoff a lot sooner nowadays,
Yes.
whereas we had to put in a lot more work back in the day before we got any payoff. But you know, we're turning out some really good students nowadays, and with my group especially, I tell them we're independent. So a lot of people are going to be criticizing us because we're not in an organization. So we have to try to be better than everybody else. So I'm upping my standards for Shodan. I make all my Shodans learn all the 15 basic katas before I will let them take the Shodan exam. And just trying to make it a little tougher on them because I know we're going to get, you know, criticized by different organizations. So I just want my people to be a little bit better and try to make our standards a little bit harder because we are independent and we are going to be criticized by other groups. I want my people to be a little bit better and a little bit more prepared than the average student who just has to learn Teki Shodan and Basai Dai and have the hands under their seat before they can take their Shodan test. So at
In,
least that's what common it has been common in the past.
in a sense, Sensei, that's ownership, right? You're
Well, it's
you're
it's
proud
my
of it.
group, so I can make the rules. So
That's marvelous. That's marvelous. But this it's big groups in a sense. They kind of lost the that special thing that you know small groups have. You know that ownership of what they do. You know.
yeah, I'm not going to talk about the big groups. I was in three of those large organizations, and you know, I totally respect. Uh, I was in the ISKF, the JKA, and the KWF. I have high regard for all three of those groups. They're all three excellent organizations. Uh, you
They,
know, back when I was in the ISKF and the JKA and the K, they were bringing in guest instructors back when I was a young student, like, you know, Master Yaguchi or, you know, Master Mikami or Master Okazaki. But nowadays, you know, now that a lot of those masters have passed away, they're bringing in my contemporaries, people that I competed against,
Correct.
and they take a lot of money and like the JKA. The reason I left JKA is just I don't get along with the leadership crew in my area. So it's not that I don't get along with them. I just don't work well with them. And I respect them as karateka, and in a social setting, I get along with them just fine. But I just don't work well with them. So that's why I left the JKA. It's just politics, and it's a shame that politics gets in the way of martial arts.
That's
But it's just it's not the same as the old days to me and the organizations. And a lot of times in a clinic, they'll just change a move or two in a kata, and then you go and you pay the money just to learn the latest changes in the kata. And so with my group, we're teaching the 26 kata by what's in best karate. We do the counts from best karate. We do the ki points from best karate because they never change. And I know that's not up to the JKA standards or the other group's standards, but that's what we're using because they never change. So
it's,
uh,
it's pretty much the same mindset that Master Kazaki has. Master Kazaki always said, "You want to see something into a kata, go to best karate. Best karate is the way that we do it. We don't change nothing."
well, I see a few of the counts have changed,
Yeah.
and I asked JKA representative, like I saw that So Chin now has 41 counts instead of 40, and I asked one of the JKA regional representatives, "Where's the extra count?" And he couldn't tell me. So I'm not sure they know, but anyhow, we're just staying with the best karate counts and the best karate ki points. And I hear they've changed some of the ki points as well. But that's how we're practicing. And uh, when I started, MP, Basai Dai, and a few of the other katas were done much differently than they are nowadays. Because katas evolve over time. And sometimes I get students who visit or who join our group, and they still do those katas in the old way that we used to do them. And I'm not saying that that's wrong because it was right back in the 70s or in the 80s, but we do them differently now. So how can you say that somebody who was doing them correctly back in the 80s or 70s was wrong, is wrong now? They just haven't updated. So yeah, I encourage them to do them more like how we're doing them now, but I'm not going to tell them they're wrong because they're doing them how they were taught back in that time period,
That's
So,
beautiful.
you look in the best karate book and you see a sensei doing a kata, and he may be in furodachi, but the caption says he's in kokutsadachi in the book. And
Yeah.
you can clearly see that he's not actually in kokutsadachi, but nobody's going to tell that master, "Hey, you're in the wrong stance for this kata." So sometimes the books don't agree with the master also. So
Yes.
like I say, like all the my sensei and a lot of the other senseis said, master the basics and then make karate your own. And I've heard you say that as well. Once you figure out the basics of karate, then you have to adapt it to your own body and fit karate to what nature gave you.
That
So
that's that's beautiful. Uh, how we can call karate something if it's not an experience?
well, it's definitely an experience, that's for sure. Uh, Greatest experience of my life. Like I said, it's like my religion. I don't know what I would be. I don't think I would be on this earth anymore without karate. I grew up in kind of a dead end place around a lot of troublemakers who, most of whom are no longer on this earth. And I think I would have been gone a long time ago had I not gotten out of Kansas City, Missouri. And I I know I wouldn't be here anymore had I not continued in karate once I got to Arizona. And like I said, it helped me get off of alcohol, and it gave me a healthy heart because I had the big one, like so many of my friends who drank heavily when we were younger. There's a big drinking culture in karate, and I'm not knocking the people who drink because I did it for years and I had a great time drinking with both karate and non-karate people. But I just got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore, and I knew it was killing me. So at 50 years old, I knew I had to stop, and karate gave me the strength to wean myself off of alcohol and get myself healthy again. And I couldn't do, because when you stop drinking, all your friends are drinkers, and you have to get away. You have to not only get away from alcohol, but you have to get away from all your drinking friends. And karate gave me the strength to start all over again, because that's basically what you do when you quit drinking. And karate gave me that strength. I don't think I could have done it without karate training. And Sensei Koyama had a morning class
Yeah,
and a night class, and I doubled down on my karate training, and that gave me something to do in those times where I had idle hands, and gave me the power to get off alcohol and straighten my life out. Uh, I owe everything to Sensei Koyama and karate training, and he and Shotokan Karate is what kept me going. So I'm very thankful to Sensei Koyama and Shotokan Karate.
one of the things that I would like to ask you, if you believe that Shotokan Karate had the capability of help you to grow when you need the most.
Oh, it absolutely did. It's kept me healthy throughout the years. It Like I said, I was not growing up in a very good place in the Midwest, and it was kind of a dead end town for me, and I knew I had to get out of there. I was growing up around a lot of people who were just only interested in drugs and alcohol and crime, and I just knew I had to get out of that area if I wanted to stay alive. And now most of the people that I ran around with back there, they're all gone, and I know I would be one of those if I would have stayed there. So when I was 19 years old, I packed up all my stuff and I moved to Arizona, and I've been here ever since. I now have two grown daughters and a grandson, and my own dojo, and uh, I'm doing well. I'm happy. I'm not rich, but I'm happy, and that's what's most important.
Yes,
And I'm enjoying life at 63 years old. I'm pretty healthy for a 63-year-old. I'm not fat, and I'm just enjoying training with my students and teaching my students. I still get out and spar with my students every now and then, and uh, I'm just having a good time. You teach karate. It's a lot of fun.
it is.
Uh, the karate life is very enjoyable. So it's what a pleasure. It's like going to work to play every day. We get paid to play, so you can't beat that. So I worked construction most of my life out here in Arizona, and construction, and it was a miserable life, but I was training the whole time with Sensei Koyama. And then when he started to get sick, I decided, it's time for us to go make our own dojo. So we did, and it was a good thing we did. And we had to start from scratch. We didn't inherit a dojo full of black belts. Sensei thought he was going to live forever, and he never made a plan to pass down his dojo. And so when he did pass away, it was kind of like, well, who's going to take over? And there wasn't a clear plan. And so Mr. Coburn took over around here, and and luckily by then we were already out of the 7th Street dojo and we had our own place to go on, and because the students over there all kind of took over that dojo, and they're doing their thing over there, and we're doing our thing over here. Mr. Coburn's doing his thing out in Mesa, and Mr. Hyder's old group, he retired, but he's got a group out in Glendale. They're doing their thing. So, you know, there's a lot of Shotokan out here in the Phoenix metropolitan area, and
Wow.
we're just we're having a good time. We're just enjoying we're running a supply store out of our dojo, so we meet people from other styles and other martial arts. And we know a lot of people from around the metropolitan area from all different martial arts and sell them different supplies. And it's just it's fun going to work every day. You never know who you're going to run into in our store, so in our
That's
dojo.
incredible. That's incredible. I did that. I run a shop from martial arts for about, I would say, 14, 15 years, maybe the largest martial arts retail and wholesale store in the Caribbean for until the hurricane came and destroyed the economy, and we gotta reinvent ourselves again.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you guys. Let's hope that you don't get hit again.
We
Uh,
hope. We hope.
yeah, those hurricanes seem to be coming faster and sooner in between lately. But
Yes, yes, totally.
good luck with that.
Uh, Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sensei. Um, so, Sensei, one of the things that I would like to ask you, if you can be so generous and tell us your viewpoint, how a karate player sustain his freshness during such a long time, lifetime training.
Well, I think you just have to train continuously. If you take, you know, I notice if I get sick or if I'm injured and I spend time off the floor for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, when I get back on the floor, my feet don't have traction on the floor. I feel like I'm on ice skates, like I'm sliding, like I don't belong there. I don't feel like I'm effective anymore. The longer you spend off the floor, the more ground you lose. So I feel in order to stay fresh, you have to continuously train. So I train at least 3 times a week, and I do calisthenics 5 days a week,
Ooh.
because I find that after 50, if you're an older gentleman like myself, if you don't do push-ups, at least push-ups every day, your muscles are going to go away. If you're not doing hard labor, you're going to lose all your muscles. So I do calisthenics to keep my muscle tone, and I train at least 3 days a week. And I think you have to do that. Otherwise, especially when you're getting older, otherwise you can't stay fit and you can't stay karate ready. So you have to stay on the floor. You have to continue to train. You have to continue to bang arms and legs with your students.
Oh,
And you have to stay sharp. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. And so training is just training, Yaram. Just have to continue to train. I know you constantly train. I see your show on the internet from time to time, and I see you out there training. So all you got to do to stay sharp is just train. And it helps if you have students who will train with you and keep you sharp and bang arms and legs with you and you know, go after you a little bit and keep you sharp. So
do you have actually right now a favorite kata?
right now I like Sochin.
And why?
I,
And why? That will be the next question.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
Why?
yes.
I really like the Fudodachi stance. I like the power of Sochin. I'm old. I don't like to jump. So I've never been able to do the jump in unsu. Uh, and so there's no jumps in Sochin. So I like that. It's a power kata. Uh, there's only a few kicks in it, and they're Maya Geddes and Yoko Geddes, so nothing too difficult. And I've never had any trouble with generating power, so I can display my power with it. It's not a particularly difficult kata. So I just like Sochin. I feel like it's a good kata to display your power with and display good technique with. So I just really enjoy it.
Awesome, awesome. And do you have like a softer kata that you like?
You know, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. Lately, I've been enjoying Basai Show, but I don't do it very well because I never hit my starting point at the beginning. I'm always off my starting point, and I haven't been able to figure out what I'm doing wrong yet. But if I keep working on it, hopefully I'll get better at it. So.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Um, Sensei, do you think that through the different stages of life, we should adapt our karate or we should keep it the same way?
Well, I think karate constantly evolves. Like I said, when I first started karate, Basai Dai was the moves, especially the beginning blocking moves, were much more exaggerated, and Jion, or I'm sorry, MP, the hand moves were much bigger and exaggerated and stuff. I think karate is continuously evolving, and I think it's going to continue in that direction there, whether we like it or not. So I don't think there's much we could do about that. And I'm not so sure it's not, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I think science is being injected more into karate and physics. And so I think it's a good thing that karate is evolving, but I think that they do need to keep the basics in mind and don't forget about the traditions. And as long as they do that, then I think the evolution of karate is a good thing. As long as they do keep the tradition in mind and the general idea of karate, why we're doing it. Karate is so much more than just self-defense and fighting. It's a general mindset. Uh, when I first started training karate, it's because I was afraid to walk the streets, afraid to go to school. And when I first started training, I was always thinking, when am I going to stop being afraid? It took a few years because it doesn't happen overnight. We all know that. When students come in and they ask me, how long will it take me to learn to defend myself? And I tell them, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while. But by doing hard training continuously, week after week after week, over time, confidence builds up. And that's what karate is all about, building your confidence, building your strength, building your endurance, and making you feel like a whole person, a stronger person, a confident person. We get little kids in here and they stare at the floor and they won't talk. They won't talk to anybody. And they stare at the floor. And their parents say they don't have any friends at school and nobody talks to them and they don't talk to anybody. And they start training with us. And then after a few months, they start talking and then they start smiling and then they start laughing. Then they have friends and then they have friends at school. Next thing we know, they're popular at school. And by the time they're green or brown belt, all of a sudden they don't need us anymore and they quit and they're popular at school and they got a girlfriend or a boyfriend and we never see them again. We bring them out of their shell and then they don't need karate anymore because it turns them into a confident human being. And you know, not all of them quit, but a lot of them do because it gives them confidence and it brings them out of their shell and makes them a confident, whole human being. And a lot of times they quit because that's all they needed was to get out of their shell and to make them a whole person.
Yes.
And I think that's a lot about what martial arts does is makes people confident, whole human beings. So uh, I think that's a lot of what martial arts is all about.
That's an incredible improvement right there. You know,
Yes, sir.
it's so after a person becomes whole and stops training, I know some people will do it because that's what they can do and that what they will do. But after that moment of becoming whole, there is such a exponential potential for them. So, do you think it's really important to have a perseverance in a sense?
Absolutely, because once those people left, we don't know what happened to them. You know, maybe they went on to be happy, maybe not. I don't know. But I'm one of the ones who kept going. And the ones that I'm in touch with are the people who are still training. But I think it's important to keep going. And the 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 reason I think a lot of them leave is it gets in the way of their new social life and their newfound social life that they didn't have before. Uh, but that's karate was what gave them that social life to begin with. So they're kind of biting the hand that fed them. But I like I said, karate gave me everything I had, and uh, I'm happy that I chose the path that I took. I know you're happy that you chose the path you took. Uh,
Yeah.
we're very fortunate people. Everybody who trains is fortunate. We've had a life full of adventure. We've had a life full of training. We've had a life full of travel. We've got so many friends, more than we can count. Uh, we've got our health. Uh, I hear about how lonely men and women are. They don't have any friends. They sit in their house. They don't, all their life is on social media. They'll have friends and they can shake a stick at. So they just need to get involved in something that they enjoy. And that's what we've been doing. We've been sure sometimes our experiences are painful. You get bruised up and banged up from
Oh
time to
yeah.
time,
Oh yeah.
but we've had lives of adventure, travel. You and I have gotten to travel around the world, meet people and beat them up or get beat up by them. But wow, what an adventure. It's a lot better than sitting on the couch. I'd rather have a black eye than, than spend a month sitting on the couch doing nothing. Go to Europe and get a black eye or sit at home on the couch. How rewarding,
It is.
I'm in my 60s and I'm still fit. I see other people in their 60s and they look horrible. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Karate is,
I mean that commentary that you just make is totally true. I'm 50, and if I place myself over 20 guys same age, you will say, oh, you're in your 40s, maybe, you are maybe 42, and you see them, you're 55, 60, 70. They look really bad. People that doesn't do karate age really, really poorly.
well, I hear some of my students say, oh, I'm old, I'm 40. And I just start laughing at them, so.
That's marvelous.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm sure there's a lot of 80-year-olds who laugh at us who saying, oh, listen to these guys in their 60s and 50s saying they're old, so there's always somebody older laughing at you saying,
Oh
listen to
yeah.
these guys talk about how old they are. So, uh, but we're really lucky to have karate in our lives. It's look at all the benefits we've gotten from it. Uh, I, other than a few scars and a few concussions and some missing teeth, I can't think of too many drawbacks. It's just been a life of adventure, a life of fun, a life full of friends, people I would have never met in my life had I not been in karate. And it's just been a blast. I've just totally enjoyed it. And, when I said that when I was trying to get dry, that I needed to get away from my drinking friends, now that I'm dry, I can mix back with all my drinking friends again. I've been dry now for 12 years, and I can go to bars with people who drink, and it doesn't bother me. They can drink in front of me, and I don't have a problem being around people who drink nowadays. I, I can't go back to drinking now. I would never do it in my life. I'm dry for good now, and I can mingle with people who drink. It doesn't bother me. They can drink right in front of me, and it doesn't encourage me to drink. Uh, but and I'm not putting down people who drink because I did it for years. But I say all the power to you. If you can do it, wonderful. That's fantastic. But I just got to the point where I couldn't do it. But anyhow, and I don't regret the years I drank. I had some wonderful times drinking with my karate friends, and Sensei Koyama used to go out and drink with us. All the senseis used to go out and drink with us. So we used to go out and get drunk with those guys and have a blast. Like I said, those times were over for me. So karate's just given me everything I could ask for, everything except money. But but I feel like I'm a rich man because I'm a lot happier than even a lot of rich people I know. So
that that's
it's
wonderful right there. And
yes, sir.
I totally agree on that one.
Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of unhappy rich people. I think I'm a lot happier than them. Uh, so everything's going well, Yaram. Everything's going well.
That's really really beautiful, and I'm so glad because you should be okay. You are a very important person. You are an amazing human being. You were a person that engage others as well. I am one of those others. Um, to do this and look for it and try it and keep going, and we're so grateful because of people like you. And I'm saying this from heart, Sensei. Um,
Well, thank you.
I would like to ask you if you are so kind, and can you tell us about the first time, maybe the first time that you saw Master Koyama in action? If you got a recall of how you feel and what happens on your head that says, "Hey, man, I gotta do that."
Well, I had when I started in Kansas City, I was training underneath a Shodan student of Sensei Koyama's, and I thought he was excellent. But when I went to Phoenix in '78 for the '78 Western States, Sensei Koyama always did a self-defense demonstration at his Western States tournaments. And I got to see him in action, I believe against David Biggs, doing a knife defense and a chair defense demonstration. And I was just amazed at him. And I can't remember who the guest sensei was at that particular tournament, but to see pure Shotokan karate being demonstrated like that, I just said, I got to be closer, because then I realized the level of my sensei or my instructor in Kansas City and the level of these people of Sensei Koyama out in Phoenix. And I realized that the guy I was training with in Kansas City was at such a lower level than what was available. And I just said, I have to move out here. I have to be with the top level people. So a year and a half later, I saved my money, and I threw everything I owned in the back of my pickup truck and moved out to Phoenix. And I lived in my truck for until I could find a place to live. So I was homeless when I first got to Phoenix, and I was showering in the Phoenix dojo, and people didn't like me much in the dojo when I first showed up. Uh, but that's okay. I was used to getting beat up, so I didn't mind when people were beating me up in the Phoenix dojo. I was used to that type of treatment, so it was not a very friendly place. Sensei was very nice when I came into the office and signed up, but I didn't realize that that was the last time I was going to hear my name from him for like 10 or 15 years. After I left the office, after I signed up, my name was Boy or Stupid for the next 10 or 15 years. I think the first time he called me by my name after that was like 10 or 15 years later, and I almost fell over. I was like, oh my God, he knows my name. I couldn't believe it. So he was quite a fierce teacher. He only weighed about 125 pounds soaking wet, but when he would spar with me, and I weighed between usually 230 to 250 pounds, when he would hit me or kick me, he would knock me across the room. And he could hit me and kick me at will. Even when I was on the US team, he could just beat the crap out of me at will, no problem. And and I might add, Sensei Yaguchi could too. He sparred with me a few times, and he would just laugh at me while he was just beating the crap out of me. So these senior gentlemen it was just a joke to them. And at the time, I was one of the top fighters in the United States. I was just amazed by these men. And I think that's the difference between traditional martial arts and the MMA right now, is that even these senior citizens can beat the heck out of these young athletes like it's nothing. You accumulate technique as you grow older in traditional martial arts, where a lot of these young MMA guys, and I respect them, they train hard, but a lot of them are washed up by 40, 45. Their joints are all shot, and they've destroyed their body by then. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them are. Whereas traditional martial artists, they hold on to their techniques and to their bodies longer. I think Sensei Koyama had, I don't know, a lot of the senseis, or at least a lot of the schools when I first joined, when people were doing yoriash, they were stamping their foot on the floor. Sensei made us slide more to preserve our joints. And that has helped me over the years. I know a lot of people my age who have done karate as long as me have artificial knee joints or artificial hip joints because Sensei Koyama made us slide rather than stamp our feet. I'm all original equipment, whereas a lot of people who train with other senseis who had them stamping their foot on their yoriashis, they have those artificial joints. And Sensei was very innovative, and he saw what was coming, and he had us change our techniques to preserve our bodies. Now, if you're outdoors in a parking lot, of course you can't slide, and then you need to stomp when you're doing yoriashi or techniques. But when you can, on a smooth wooden dojo floor, you can slide and take care of your body and protect it so it'll last you longer in your older years. So if you take care of your body, it'll take care of you. So
I mean, you had give so many insights in this little part. We are so grateful. I mean, you know that there is not too many that can say that had trained as long as you are without replacement of knees or replacement of hips. So, you know, you are a very rare specimen, Sensei.
I've never had a knee surgery or if you go to a doctor and you say you got a sore knee, they're going to want to cut on it because that's how they make their money. So I would say to all you young athletes, if you hurt your knee, rest on it for a month or two. See if it comes back by itself. Don't go to a doctor and get their opinion because they're going to tell you, hey, I want to cut on your knee. Wait and let it see if it starts to feel better. And if it starts to feel better, start training on it a little bit. And because all the doctors are trying to make a buck.
Oh
wait and
yeah.
see if it'll come back by itself first. And because a lot of times I hurt my knee and I thought, oh, this is it. I'm in trouble. But I rest because I was poor and I didn't have health insurance. I sat back and I waited a week or two or three, and then it started feeling better. And I came back, started training. And when you start training, your knee knows, well, he's not going to give me a break, and they start getting better. So, I'm sure bad knee injuries happen, and sometimes people need to be cut on. But
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying make sure that it is definitely damaged and that it can't be repaired by rest before you go rushing into a doctor for advice, because a lot of times they want to just prematurely just cut on people. So
Oh yeah.
I'm no doctor, so don't listen to me for medical advice. That's just my opinion. So
Well, we are too. I think the same way.
I'm a quack, but that's what I think. So
So, Sensei, what are your future plans, if you have any, and if you are willing to share with us, of course?
well, right now I'm just trying to, my dojo is 8 years old, and we started with one child student, white belt. I'm just trying to build up, dojos are revolving doors, and so many people pass through over the years, and they're paying their dues, and that pays the bills for the dojo, keeps the dojo going. But every year, you get two or three people that stay. And over the years, those few people, however many they may be, build up and they stay. And over the years, that number gets bigger and bigger. And that's your organization growing around you. And of course, those people go up in rank and they support you. And eventually you get them teaching for you and you get them assisting and helping in different activities. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm building my organization. Not that I'm trying to build some massive organization. I'm just trying to build a decent sized dojo and have a nice operation going. As far as big plans, I just want to keep teaching. I'm doing this to entertain myself. Since I had my heart attack in 2015, I'm just kind of semi-retired. We're not making any money here. Luckily, my wife has a real job that supports us. And so I'm just kind of playing karate, and I come here and I teach 6 days a week, and I'm happy doing that. Like I said, I'm 63 right now, and I think if I retired, I don't think I would last very long. So I'm just trying to stay active, stay in karate, and stay healthy, and just continue what I'm doing. I really don't have any long-term plans other than just to keep doing what I'm doing and keep building my organization. So.
Beautiful. Um, Sensei, can you please share some memories that you have from different masters, if you are willing to, of course, because some of them are personal. But I don't know if you want to tell us something about Jaguchi, about Kojama, things that you think that are important to the people that are going to be watching this, that they don't have the chance to experiment with them.
Well, I remember the first year I made the U.S. team. Uh, I went to. I was supposed to go to U.S. team training at Master Camp in Philadelphia, and I ran into Sensei Koyama on the way there, and he was giving me his pep talk. His you must train and you must beat everyone, and he was yelling at me and telling me how I must destroy everybody in there and all this stuff, because I was on the Kumite team, and typical Sensei Koyama. And but he made me late, and when I showed up at the boathouse where all the team was training, Sensei Takashina was quite upset that I was probably 10 minutes late for team training. And he started screaming at me, "Where have you been? You're late." And you knew Sensei Takashina. He was
Mm.
a scary man when he's screaming and in your face. That's one scary
Oh
man.
yeah, he was.
And I was like, oh, I was like, my sensei was talking to me, sensei, I'm sorry, I'm late. And he's like, who's your sensei? And I said, Koyama sensei, sensei. And he went, okay. So that was my introduction to Takashina sensei. I had been to a few camps that he'd been to. So later on, when we were at the Shoto Cup, after the Shoto Cup in Tokyo, uh, we were drinking after the Shoto Cup, and we had these big bottles of Sapporo on the table, and the whole team was sitting around the table. And Sensei Takashina opened up a bottle of Sapporo and said, "Kanpai," and was making a cheers. Well, I opened up my bottle of Sapporo, and apparently it was shaken up a little bit, and this perfect stream of Sapporo went and arced over and landed right on top of Sensei Takashina's bald head. And all this suds was running down his face. And I just had this feeling like I'm about to die. Sensei Takashina is going to jump over this table and kill me now, you know? And I looked at him and he was looking at me, and all of a sudden he just broke out laughing. And I just felt this giant wave of relief. Oh my God, I might see another sunrise. Sensei Takashina may not kill me now. And then everybody broke out laughing. But I'll tell you another funny story. Sensei Enoweda was teaching at Master Camp, and he was teaching a class at Master Camp, and he was demonstrating a combination that everybody was supposed to do. And this is a Japanese sensei with a thick Japanese accent. But after he had demonstrated what he wanted us all to do, he said in a British accent, because he was the teacher from the UK, he said, "Carry on." And 400 people in the main training floor just broke out laughing because we had never heard a Japanese sensei using a British saying in a British accent, you know, "Carry on." We all broke out laughing. Well, Sensei Anawada didn't like that. And he went, "What?" And we all went, "Whoa." He about made 400 people crap their pants, you know, when he did that. He scared 400 people, you know, and that was uh, that was something else. But uh, Sensei Yaguchi, like I said, he was always such a nice man and very pleasant to be around, very affable. But when he asked me to spar with him when I was on the U.S. team, he just kicked the shit out of me. He just beat the crap. I couldn't move without him tagging me. Every time I moved, he would kick me in the stomach. I couldn't do anything with Sensei Yaguchi. He's an amazing man, Sensei Yaguchi. He's
he,
awesome, so amazing,
he's
uh, just unbelievable. And Master Okazaki, when I was in Philadelphia at the '94 Shoto Cup, he just made me feel like part of the family. You know, I didn't know him. He came out to Arizona in '92, and he was awesome at our camp. But when I went there in '94 for the Shoto Cup, and needed some help getting some things done and stuff, he helped me out. Just made me feel like one of the family. He was so nice to me. But I got some pictures of us together, and what an honor. Just like I said before, just to rub shoulders with these gentlemen and to be around these gentlemen. Master Mikami invited me out to judge at a U.S. team selection in the 2000s, and just to be able to rub shoulders with these gentlemen, to know these gentlemen, to meet these gentlemen. These are historic
yeah, for sure,
people, very famous people, and just
for sure.
to have been able to know them and to have conversations and to train under these gentlemen and to be able to spar with a few of them. We're just so fortunate to live in a time, because pretty soon all these gentlemen are going to be gone, and we're so lucky to have lived in a time where we could actually walk among them and talk to them and train with them, because pretty soon that time's going to be over, and people are going to say, wow, you knew these people, and you know, I hate to break it to you, Yarm, but we're going to be gone pretty soon, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
uh,
We are.
So we're very fortunate people, and we should we should appreciate what we got, because I'm not sure everybody at the time did appreciate how lucky we were to train with these legends that we got to train with, and no wonder we got we turned out with what little skill we have. We had such great teachers. No wonder we turned out as good as we did, because we had Master Nakayama sent us some of the cream of the crop to the United States, and we got some excellent training.
Was
So
was a unique group.
yes, yes, sir. And my only regret is when Master Nakayama came in '87, I was too broke to go to his camp. I didn't have any money. And I thought, oh, I'll go next time he comes. And then, of course, he passed away the next year. And, uh, and also, I always thought that I'd have another chance to go out and train with Nishiyama Sensei, and I never did it. And I never got to meet Nishiyama Sensei. I'm upset at myself for never doing that. Uh, but I did get to meet several of them and train under several of them, and what an honor! What an honor!
Uh,
So,
since the next question, it's it's just my feeling of it. For me, it was like all of them when they were working together prior to separations. That everybody took their own way of going and everything. Um, for me, it was like they were pieces of a puzzle. You know, this person had these skills because he's small and he's very explosive and he can make very long distances while moving. This person is extremely strong, but at the same time is very explosive. I'm talking right now about I'm flexible, like Master Yaguchi. The first one was Master Mikami. Then we got Sensei Koyama was poor dynamism. And then we got also Sensei Takashi now, which was very strong and stocky and had a incredible kicking, and side moving and a wonderful mind. And then also we got Sensei Okazaki, of course, which was the what I call the master's master. And above him was Sensei Nichiyama, was the renowned master's master. I mean, he was extremely an incredible teacher. Um, for me, when they separate, we just have parts of the puzzle, but not the whole puzzle.
well, you know, it's like I said, the politics of karate, to me, it's a shame. It breaks things up, good things. It ends good things, but it's there's nothing we can do about it. It
Nothing.
happens. Old friends sometimes disagree,
Yeah.
and it's there's people who were my friends 40 years ago that I don't get along with anymore. Uh, we all know it's unfortunate, but it happens, and there's nothing we can really do about it. Those were the wonder years back, in the 80s and 90s. I think that was the magical age back then, where
Oh
we
yeah.
were almost one group. And wow, what awesome years those were. Uh, but you were talking about the senseis and their specialties,
Yes.
and that kind of goes back to making karate your own. Once you master the basics, then you go into your own body types and what you specialize in. And that's what those masters did. They mastered the basics, and then they went into what their body types made them good at, and they specialized in their own things. Everybody's different, and everybody, if you train enough, you can do that with yourself if you put in the time and the effort. Uh, as far as the body politics of karate, uh, I'm not sure we'll ever have a group like that again. I don't think Japan's ever going to send out another group of masters around the world. I'm not sure they'd be welcome if they did. They'd be stepping on a lot of people's toes. Uh, so I think those days are over. But
Yeah.
anyhow, we were lucky that we got to take part in the pioneers who brought karate over to the United States. We lived in a great time where we got to participate in that group. We got to train underneath those pioneers, and now we're trying to spread their teachings out across
Yeah.
the world, and we're doing the best we can. Are we as good as them? Of course not. Can we fill their shoes? Of course not. But we're trying to do the best job we can. I was known for as a kumite guy, but now I'm trying to teach kata to my students. Can I teach kata like Master Osaka? Oh, hell no. Of course not. But I'm doing the best I can. I can teach kumite, but can I do kumite like I could back in the 90s? No, but I'll do the best job I can. And all we can do is do the best we can and hope our students appreciate it. And hopefully when we're gone, hopefully some of them will want to carry on the tradition and keep teaching in our place when the time comes and pass it on down the line. So all we can do is try to give them our values and hope that they continue, because that's why Nakayama sent these people around the world to try to continue this tradition on. And now it's our job to keep passing it down the line and hopefully pass our values on to our descendants, and hopefully they'll continue the tradition.
That's that's awesome, Sensei. So I would like to say a deep thank you to you for your time and for this opportunity to show your perspectives and part of your history. So please, if you are so kind, can you tell us if we are around the area, your area, how we can contact you so we can visit your dojo and also your martial arts shop?
I'm at 505 West Dunlap, Phoenix, Arizona, 85021. That's in north central Phoenix. And I'm at 602 Sample Shawn at yahoo.com. I'm pretty easy to find. I'm not hiding from anybody. I'm not wanted by any major law enforcement, as far as I know. If I am, I'll find out pretty quickly, I think. So, but no, yeah, anytime you want, come down, come visit my dojo. We have some spirited students, and we enjoy visitors, and would love to see anybody who wants to drop in and train. So
That's
that'd be wonderful.
That's awesome, Sensei. So I'm gonna cut the transmission, but stay, please. Don't go anywhere. Dento
Okay.
karate practitioners. Again, we are so grateful for all the insights and histories that Sensei Shawn Sample gave us in this edition of Karate Perspectives. Thank you, Sensei, for your time and your kindness. I hope you have fun, uh, which was one of my main pointers. Uh, so, Sensei, I'm going to stop the transmission. Thank you, Dento Karate
Thank
Practitioner.
you, Yara. Thank
Us,
you very much.
us.